If you want to go from awkward and shy to confident and popular, then this video is going to be for you, because I used to be what people would describe as the most socially awkward and the most socially anxious person in the world when I was in my freshman year of high school. But come sophomore year, I became incredibly confident, social, popular. People would even describe me as the person who could talk to absolutely anyone. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing everything that got me from the point where I was terrified by the idea of even speaking with people to where I had tons of friends, was incredibly social and incredibly confident in myself, and knowing how to talk to anyone and make friends with anyone. Hi my best friends, and welcome back to my sleepover. Without taking too much of your time, we're gonna have a shout out of the week at the end of the video, and the last two tips that I'm gonna be mentioning at the end of this video are honestly going to be incredibly life-changing when it comes to confidence. But without further ado, let's get into this video. First things first, what was the biggest problem for me was that I used to have this tendency that holds so many people back, that you might have as well, that you take everything to mean something negative upon you. Oh wow, that person didn't text me back, that means that I'm probably not likable. That person didn't talk to me during lunch, that means that I'm awkward, no one wants to be friends with me. I have to break it to you, that it is not about you. The world does not revolve around you. If someone didn't talk to you, it can be as simple as they weren't in the mood. So stop taking people's actions and assuming something negative about you. Your feeling like you're socially awkward mostly comes from the self-appointed title. And you might be like, no, but I know I'm socially awkward because I did this, I did that, and people don't like to talk to me, and people think I'm weird. Weird is a label that you give yourself. Don't be jughead over here.
I'm weird.
Whatever you label yourself as, you're going to embody. No one immediately labeled you as awkward or weird, and I know there might be instances of bullying where people are constantly mean to you and telling you mean things, and if that is happening, you do have to realize that that's not because of something in you, that's because of something in them. That person feels either insecure or negative about themselves, and being mean to you is making them feel better. There have been psychology studies about this. If someone's mean to you, it doesn't have anything to do with you, it's more to do with them. And trying to judge yourself based on other people's perceptions would be the same as judging your body or judging your face by looking in a funhouse mirror. Everyone's view of you is distorted by their own perceptions, their own biases that they have, their perceptions of the world that they have, and even their perceptions of themselves. Why would you assume a negative identity upon yourself? When you think to yourself, I'm awkward, I'm weird, no one likes me, you're going to act accordingly, because whatever you think about shapes the way that you act. If you think you're weird, that shapes whether you think you can approach someone and talk to that person, because if you think you're weird, why would you even try? Because that person wouldn't like you. You're weird, why would you even try? But if you think of yourself as something more positive, joyful, confident, social, you start to embody those qualities over time. Something that really helped me when I was working on my self-esteem was honestly seeing a therapist, which I was going to a therapist every single Friday. I remember that because I got to skip art class. But if you're struggling with your self-esteem and you're doubting yourself and you have a lot of negative beliefs, therapy can definitely help with that. If you guys want to try therapy, my sponsor BetterHelp can easily connect you with a licensed therapist that can help you with any issues that you might be struggling with and help you build confidence. Instead of trying to figure everything out by yourself, you can talk to a licensed professional who is trained to help you find answers to being your best self. Just fill out a quick questionnaire and BetterHelp will match you with a therapist in just a couple of days. And if it's not a right fit for you, you can change therapists easily at no extra cost. BetterHelp carefully vets their therapist to make sure that they're well qualified, and their support team is always available to answer any questions that you might have. BetterHelp has over 7,000 reviews and 4.5-star rating on Trustpilot, so it is a platform that you can trust. Therapy is an investment in yourself, and when you improve your relationship with yourself, your relationships in your life are going to improve as well. Click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/angelgray to get 10% off your first month of therapy and start building the self-worth that you deserve. Next up, when I was my awkward, socially anxious self in 8th grade, between like 8th and 9th grade, I transferred to a new school, hoping that in this school things would be different. Maybe people would be drawn to me and maybe I would make friends and be popular and be social and just live my happy high school life. But the first day that I went to that school, only probably like like 2 people talked to me, and some girl even kicked me out of my seat and I had to sit on the floor because she was like, that is where I sit and that's where my friend sits and that's our table, so you can't be sitting here. And that was not during lunch, that was literally in a classroom where no one had assigned seats. So honestly, a horrible human being, but I felt completely defeated. I was like, the same thing is happening even in a different school that I went to. But the problem was not the people, the problem was not the school, because I was thriving in that school by the end of that school year. The problem was actually something that was common between those two schools, which was, and not that I was weird or awkward. The problem was something that actually so many people do. Not even just in school or friendships. It also happens a lot when it comes to relationships. But basically, I had such a negative experience in my previous school that here I was afraid of trying to be friends with people or respond to someone like that girl being like, that's my seat and that's my friend's seat and that's my friend's seat and you can be sitting anywhere. But your past experiences, they don't have to happen again. I know this happens a lot when you've had a horrible friendship breakup. Maybe you've had a horrible experience at your past school and now you're afraid to go up to people at your new school. Honestly, don't let your fears because of your past experience hold you back, because what else are you gonna do? Just sit there because you've had a negative previous experience? Let's not have friends at all. Let's just be by myself. How is that a win? A win is when you keep trying no matter your previous experience and you find such a good friend group that that previous experience is put to a shame. Next up, when you're talking to people, have you ever noticed in the people that are really charismatic to talk to, the people that you really grow to like, or the people that you're really immediately attracted whenever you talk to them, what is something that they do? I bet you it's one of these 2 qualities, which the first one is that those people make you feel amazing about yourself. They seem genuinely interested in whatever you're doing. They're actually listening to you. They're not interrupting you when you speak. They're making an effort to listen to what you're saying instead of just casually waiting for their turn to speak. They actually remember what you care about and they genuinely act excited or happy whenever they see you. Everyone on a psychological level wants to feel good about themselves. So if you make someone feel good about themselves when talking to them, they're going to like you more and they're going to want to talk to you more. You can do this by using a few simple techniques, which number 1 is listening to what they're saying. Number 2 is sometimes echoing what they've told you to them. So if someone is speaking about something, and again, don't overdo this because I know there's gonna be some of you in the comments who are just going to take everything out of context, but echoing a few words that they've said back to them here and there. So maybe someone is saying like, oh yeah, and then I drank matcha, I honestly really love it, and you say something like, oh, you drink matcha? That is so cool. Where do you usually buy it? Because I'm looking for a good one, but I haven't found any that I like yet. This doesn't have to happen all the time because that's just gonna sound very artificial. But naturally doing this when there's an opportunity to do it, that makes the other person feel really good because they feel really sure that you've been listening to them. The same goes for remembering the things that they've told you about and repeating that to them. Maybe they've talked about that they really want to audition for the school play and you're like, how's that audition coming along? Are you getting better at that hard monologue that you told me you were having trouble with memorizing? Also, having your body pointed towards them when you're speaking to them, having your toes pointed towards them and keeping an open and friendly body language with your hands being visible and not in your pockets, because that makes the person trust you more on a subconscious level. And the second thing that people that you're incredibly drawn to do when speaking to you is they give off honestly this feeling that, not in an arrogant way, but you would be lucky to be their friend. It's the way that they actually speak so confidently as if everyone is lucky to be hearing them. And also a way to become closer with someone and make someone perceive you as someone that they like is definitely engaging with their social media. I honestly even noticed that myself whenever I would engage with someone's post when I was in school. They would engage back and there would be like this kind of like mutual, we feel really good about each other type of thing. And it can even give you conversation starters or some excuses to ask someone to hang out because maybe they posted about a movie that they really like and you can suggest like, hey, I saw this really cool like movie theater that has that movie. Would you want to maybe hang out and go see that movie there? Or I saw this really cool reel. Would you want to maybe hang out and try doing that at some point? Something like that. But at this point you might be like, where do I even make friends? Where do I even find people to talk to? Or how do I even talk to people? A really easy thing that has changed so much for me, because that's where I made so many of my friends, was honestly that my freshman year I didn't attend a single school event, and I even skipped a lot of the more socially interactive classes like gym and art class, which I know art class doesn't really seem socially interactive, but it would really be the case for our art class where people would just sit together, paint something something and chat, and that's what I did all the other years. But I really regret not attending that year and not trying to actually talk to people there. But basically what made me so many friends was going to school activities and school events, because activities, people usually take those based on their interests, and if you're in the same activity, it's a big chance that you have the same interest and you already have common ground, which makes people like each other more, and it also gives you a conversation starter, because there you are in this film class and both of you like film. Go ahead and talk to that person about film. But I know you might be like, I am way too scared to talk to people. That is something that I used to feel like. I literally remember at some point watching a YouTube video about how to make friends as a new kid, how to make friends when you're alone, and I remember seeing this girl that was literally like, when you're a new kid, you really have to speak to people yourself. When I was hearing that, I was like, oh my god, that is not gonna work for me. But I saw this girl in my gym class, and the teacher would usually ask people to pair up in order to do the exercises correctly. And usually the teacher would show them to me and just exercise with me. But this day the teacher was sick, so the person that was substituting for them didn't know about my whole like partnering with the teacher thing and how afraid I was to speak with people. So I actually really had to go out of my comfort zone and speak to someone. I saw this girl in our gym class. She didn't have a partner. She looked really friendly. So I just had to count down from 5 and just no brain, no thinking, straight up go up to her and be like, hey, would you mind partnering with me? And she was like, no, I don't mind at all. After that, we started exercising together every single fitness class, and then I also started sitting near her in classes. Few months later, we became best friends, and she is to this day my high school best friend. I really love her. But then I use this thing again and again, which is as stupid as it sounds, counting back from 5 until 1, and when 1 hits, like immediately springing into action, not giving yourself time to think. It's because when you're counting backwards, your brain shuts off the overthinking, so you don't really have time to talk yourself out of whatever you're doing. It's actually called the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins, who has been my favorite author for such a long time, and people on TikTok are just now catching up to her, which brings me into something that works really, really well when you have social anxiety or just feeling shy in general, which is exposure therapy. Exposure therapy is when basically you expose yourself to something little by little, and then you increase the exposure over time. So let's say you're afraid of talking to people. Depending on how bad it is, you can do like talking to one person a week, or even talking to one person a day. Then once you get comfortable with that, once you feel like you have that down, then you speak to 2 people, 3 people, and you kind of increase it. At some point you speak to someone new every single day, and at that point it's going to be incredibly easy for you to just go up to someone and start a conversation with them. It would definitely be better to have an actual therapist guide you through this, because they definitely are professionals and they know more about this, which you could definitely use better help for that. Another thing that is going to help you if you get anxious in social situations is, 1, if you just feel really overwhelmed in a social situation, something that I personally really love to do is visualize yourself in a safe place. You can go to the bathroom, you can go to a different room, or maybe even sitting there if you're not really doing something incredibly active. Just basically visualize a place where you feel completely calm, completely safe. For me, that's usually a beach with some rose quartz crystals there, and maybe even like a rose quartz crystal cave. Think about what you can hear there, what you can smell there, what you can feel. Really immerse yourself into that visualization, and that's going to calm you down. Once you're calm, collect yourself and go back to that interaction. You can also try deep breathing, which is something that honestly never works for me. I don't know why. Try grounding, which is something that again a therapist showed me, which was basically when you name 5 things that you can see, 5 things that you can hear, 5 things that you can smell. That really brings you into the present moment. And before we get into something that is completely life-changing, I want to do the shout out of the week, which this time will go to Nova on Instagram. It was incredibly amazing, incredibly talented, also writing a song. If you're watching this, I love you. You're truly that girl, and I really hope that you become a famous artist one day. And if you guys want to be the shout out of next week, then definitely just be active on my YouTube and Instagram or TikTok. But something that has been completely life-changing changing, which is also partially something that I did when I had my big social glow up, but also something that I saw on TikTok, which is like the same idea, but TikTok put it in such better words. If you want to feel more confident in yourself and if you want to cultivate self-love, this is basically like a mindset shift or an imagination exercise that you would do for yourself, which she called the coach method, which is basically that imagine you're a coach. A coach is basically your assigned role on this earth, and you're assigned to a person that would kind of be like your avatar in a game, or basically a person that you're coaching in this life. That is this person right now. So as a coach, would you tell yourself things like, oh my god, you look horrible, you look fat, you look ugly? And I know there are some people who really like that aggressive coaching method, but I don't think that's really productive. Like, would you tell yourself, no one wants to talk to you, go hide in the bathroom during lunch? Would you tell yourself, why would you even try going up to that person? Everyone will think you're awkward anyway. I swear this changed my mindset so much, and I even remember trying to do something similar when I was in high school. The next time you're being mean to yourself or you're even trying to achieve a goal, think about yourself as a coach. What would coach say to you right now? And if you want to know the habits that are going to make you the girl that everyone is in love with, then definitely check out this video right here. And if you want to know some confidence tips that are going to help you fall in love with your appearance and not hate how you look anymore, then check out this video right here. And I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!